Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Blank and Dinner. This time we're talking about the general election. Can Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party turn the tide for a clear path to number 10? Let's find out. So everybody's wondering whether or not the Labour Party will actually have a good chance of winning the general election.
Well, I actually don't think they have a chance of winning the general election, but I actually think they might do much better than everybody's expecting they will do. I think the manifesto obviously could attract quite a lot of people, some interesting ideas in there, but I'm just not sure whether people see Jeremy as the one delivering on those.
Here's the thing. The more and more I learn about Jeremy Corbyn, the more and more I like him. I believe him when he says that he wants to sort out, inequality and injustice and poverty. And I tell you why this is. Jeremy is a man of principles and values. He doesn't like inequality. He doesn't like injustice. We know he's from a privileged upbringing. He went to a grammar school. And I watched in an interview where he said that he really disliked what he saw there. He said he didn't like the aspects of implicit privilege that all the boys that went there were taught. He actually was on the debating team and he wanted to turn his school into a comprehensive school rather than have it be a grammar school because he thought that, that he didn't like the privilege and the fact that typical Joe Blogs wouldn't be able to benefit from an education there. And I think, this shows that this is a man, even at an early stage in his life, he had these values. And I think that's a really good sign that he has these values in place. And these are the same values that he's talking about today.
I'm most probably disagree with quite a number of his ideas and policies. But the reason why I trust him more than Theresa May is that he, as you say, he sticks up for his ideas. Whilst Theresa May is turning the Conservative Party in a total mainstream, whatever topic she thinks gets her vote, and in the manifesto, whether that are true Conservative ideas or Labour ideas or Lib Dem ideas that just end up in there. While Jeremy put out a really left-wing manifesto, didn't he?
Again, he demonstrates that he's not about popularity. He's about doing what's right. And whether you agree with him or not, it has to be said that as a politician, this is something that is incredibly unique. This is a quality that you don't often come across. So a lot of things that people don't know about Jeremy Corbyn again, and I'm talking about his history a lot because, like I said earlier, I'm starting to be quite surprised about the things I'm finding out about him. And I'm liking the things that I'm finding out about him. And it makes him a more credible sort of prime ministerial candidate in the sense that I would see him running the country because of his values. The other interesting thing is that, he was very much sort of an activist in his earlier years as well.
Yes.
Very much a campaigner for peace. And he was involved in a number of other campaigns as well on a number of different issues. He campaigned or protested against the apartheid, and he was actually arrested, and the Mandelas even reached out to him and said, job well done, thank you for being part of this.
Look, one thing he has, which is the big topic in leadership and business, authenticity. He is just who he is, and that's how he comes across. And whilst I'm struggling with a number of his ideas, when I look at Theresa May, I just really don't know who she is. I see somebody who has every single appearance we can see from her in public is staged, it's choreographed, and it just doesn't come across natural. She turns that into a leader's election, doesn't she? She turns it into her versus him, not Conservative versus Labour. And I'm actually not sure whether that is doing her a favour.
Well, the polls say that, she's polling well, or the party's polling well. So,
yes,
that's one thing. A huge amount of younger voters have actually gone out and registered off the back of campaigns that the Labour Party have been pushing to encourage them to get out there and vote. And it could swing it for the Labour Party. I mean, that's the core audience where, Conservatives have never had a huge amount of support from in the past. And likewise with Brexit, if all of the young people who didn't vote on the referendum were to vote in the general election, it could swing it for Labour.
No, absolutely. I think when you think about what swung it for Brexit and what did the same for Trump, was that both campaigns mobilized people to go to the ballot box who typically don't. And I think this is why all the polls were off so much. And he's really doing that. And look, and even if he doesn't necessarily win, him mobilizing all those sorts of people must be a good thing, because people get involved again in the political debate.
One of the things I always talk about is the fact that Theresa May, especially on the subject of LGBT issues, now, she's voted consistently against gay rights in the past. Jeremy Corbyn has consistently voted in favour of LGBT rights, gay rights. Whereas Theresa May, the consistency in which she's voted against gay rights says to me that, this is not somebody who is for LGBT rights. You look at the whole situation with North Carolina and the HB2 law, and the amount of backlash that they were getting, and threats of boycotting, and some major corporations pulling out, in sports, across the tech world, the finance world, all over the place, pulling out, countries coming out, world leaders speaking out against it. And what do? We decide to invest a huge amount of money in building a business centre. And this is something she'll have signed off. And I'm sat there thinking, okay, well, if I'm for LGBT rights and there is something huge happening in a part of the world that I'm supposed to be investing money in on the behalf of my country, for the betterment of my country, and I'm saying that, I value these things, and this is something I wouldn't agree with, especially in a climate where you've got huge amount of disagreement and people pulling out. Would you invest?
No, but look, in the end of the day, for me, this is a really good example why I wonder how trustworthy she is. And my favorite example remains the entire Brexit topic. She was a Remainer, apparently, during the Brexit campaign. And now when you read the Conservative manifesto, she is in the manifesto speaking about a hard Brexit.
So she's become like a really tough Brexit.
And considering that the result of the referendum was relatively narrow, I actually don't think the referendum result contains a hard Brexit.
I don't think a hard Brexit is what people want.
But where's her opinion? Was she actually always a Brexiteer and just pretended to be a Remainer because Cameron was pro-Remain? But this really, for me, puts into question whether she's a trustworthy person.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I've always been saying, is that this is somebody who flip-flops on the issues, on the things that are important. When you think about values, she flip-flops to suit an agenda, which is literally to advance herself. This is a woman who is about the advancement of herself. She's a career politician. She wanted to be Prime Minister. An opportunity came up when David Cameron made a massive mess of Brexit and had to step down. And she saw an opportunity, she took it. And if that means, I am sorry, if it meant drowning a cat, Theresa May would drown that cat. She would do it. This is the same woman who went to meet Donald Trump when he just became president. And whilst a huge amount of protesting was going on, this is a man who's, let's remind ourselves about the many flaws that the very orange man has. This is a woman, whilst most world leaders were being very, very, drawing a very definitive line on their stance and saying, we do not accept your points of views, which are contrary to, the values of openness and being accepting. she went along and she was quite happy to say nothing for a very long time and to shake his hand and walk around holding his hand on the steps of the White House.
I think the modern generation of country leaders hasn't arrived here yet, and it's most certainly not Theresa May.
No.
But it's also not Jeremy Corbyn.
No, I agree with you. This is what I'm saying. Although I think, given the options that we have, he's the best option, in my opinion.
In terms of something different, and not just the standard what we had over the last decades.
Yeah.
That most probably is a fair point. But there we go.
There we go.
So another royalish wedding today.
Yeah, it wasn't really a royal wedding.
Yeah.
The press have been saying. Well, the press, lots of royals went. The press have been calling it a semi-royal wedding.
Absolutely
I
right.
don't know if that's going to catch on though.
No, me neither. But it was a £45,000 wedding dress apparently.
Yeah, never mind the wedding dress. She paid £80,000 in the region for the marquee, a glass marquee.
Well,
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, what's wrong with a normal marquee, for crying out loud? I mean, give the rest of the money to charity. Find a cause, donate it to them. But, the thing is, I'm not really interested in Pippa Middleton and her marriage, to be honest with you. That doesn't really concern me. I'm more interested in what's going on with Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle. That's what I'm interested in.
Did she not go or didn't she go?
She didn't go to the wedding.
Well, she didn't go to the church as we assumed.
No, she didn't go to the church, but she did go to the reception afterwards.
Well, this is now, so is she at the reception right now?
Well, this is what they're saying, is that she's going to the reception. I mean, there's massive. So there are lots of speculation about why she didn't go to the wedding.
Yes.
To the church ceremony. One of the things they're saying is that it was about not taking away the spotlight from Pippa on her big day.
Which is a most probably very fair point.
It is, but I also think, she did have this, basically, if you're not married, you can't go.
Yes. I don't think that is the case, because there were other people going with their partners who are not married. So I don't think that is the reason.
So?
Yeah.
From what I read, there was...
Well, the German press is convinced.
Anyway, the most interesting people, the ones we actually want to hear something about, Meghan and Harry. Apart from Kate and William, we don't really want to know about anybody else, and there's nothing interesting going on with them at the moment. She wore a very pretty dress, but who cares? The whole thing around this is that everyone's saying, all the press are saying, this is a really big step forward, and a huge indication of intentions for making a proposal very soon, very, very soon indeed.
Oh, so I would not be surprised.
Well, I don't think that given the usual sort of pace of things with the royals in terms of courting and moving on to the next stages and stuff, she's been very involved in a lot of really formal and very public outings, and you don't tend to have all of that if there isn't sort of a serious, at the very least, a very serious consideration that this might be somebody who is going to be.
And this is why I think your first point is most probably the reason why she didn't went to church is because they didn't want to take away from people, which is most probably fair. Because, if Prince Harry would bring somebody we're all convinced he's putting a ring on her finger to an event like this would just simply draw the entire media attention. So there we have it.
So there we have it. It will be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I think I've made up my mind in terms of who I'm voting for. And, it will be interesting to see if the outcome is that Labour manages to snag number 10.
Well, it would just be the third Brexit surprise, isn't it? Brexit, Trump, Jeremy Corbyn.
They say good news comes in threes. Or is it bad news?
Oh, well, we leave that to you to decide whether it's good or bad news.
Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Cheers!
Cheers.